Alright, grade 10s, we are now going to look at the electrical installations inside your house which you are going to design and which you are going to be working with. So let us start with our first column, which is basically a description. The second column is the actual true example, and then this column here, which is the symbol, that is the column you need to know. So our first component is a ceiling light, which you will find basically in your room, and that is basically an example of it. And that symbol by means of a cross is the sand symbol for a ceiling light. Then we have a wall mounted light, which is basically outside of your house, mounted to the wall as it states, and that as an additional line to that side, or it could be this side or that side. So in fact it could have a line any side, which basically indicates that it's wall mounted. Then we have our fluorescent light, which has two bulbs of 40 watt in it, or two tubes of 40 watt, and that's very important to note how many bulbs there are. This is normally situated in kitchen areas where there's maximum light needed, or in bigger buildings like classrooms and hallways, and that is the symbol for a fluorescent light. Two lines connected by a single line in the center, but the description of 2 times 40 watt must be added below. We look at our different switches, and the first one we have is a one-way switch, which is single pole. So all the switches have circles as it is here, and a line running on the side. That's very important, but the difference comes in the different switches that we have there. This one is a single pole, meaning that there is only one switch. 2 lines indicate 2 switches, and 3 lines indicate 3. So here you can have multiple lights being switched off and on at one single point. And that would be classified as a one-way switch double pole, one-way switch 3-pole, or triple pole. On the opposite side of our page you will find a 2-way switch single pole, which basically means that you can activate this switch at 2 separate points in your house, maybe one at the bottom and one on top, and the same light can be switched on, and that you have a circle with these 2 tentacles on the side, and that indicates that it's a 2-way switch single pole. Then we have a regulating switch, which regulates the current flow, basically called a dimmer, where you have a switch and there is a little knob which turns, that causes the light strength to either decrease or increase, and that is the symbol that we have for a dimmer. A wall socket, which has no switch, is indicated with a semicircle and just a line, mostly used in bathrooms where you shouldn't have a switch, but for shavers where it's a 2-point wall socket. And then we have our switch socket outlet, and it is similar to this one over here, but it has that tentacle there which refers to the switch. And we look at our few last electrical components, which would be your distribution board, and that is what we normally call as the main switchboard, with all the various circuit breakers in there, and that is just indicated with a rectangular box somewhere in your house. And then we have our earth, which is indicated like that, a T upside down with shorter lines at the bottom. And then finally we'll have an electrical meter, which we have had a discussion about already previously, with a W inside a square box. So grade 10s, that is basically all the necessary information that you need at this moment.